As accredited business valuers, often we get asked, what's the rule of thumb for my engineering business, or my manufacturing business, or my food services business, or my mining services business? What's the rule of thumb? What's the model for those businesses? We don't use rules of thumb here in our valuation practice, and I want to go through this example just to explain why that's the case. Let's say we've got two businesses. They operate in the exact same market, business A, business B. The turnover of the business is exactly the same, 5 million per annum turnover. The business maintainable earnings, in terms of forward earnings, looking at the business in its current state, $500,000. Each business, exactly the same. Remember, they're operating in the same market. The customers of these businesses, in terms of revenue, business A, 60% of the annual revenue is made up from 3 customers. 3 clients generate 60% of the revenue. For business B, 60% of the revenue is generated by 30 clients. Okay? Exact same type of business in the same market. So, do you really reckon that a rule of thumb in terms of valuation, for instance, if you're looking at one method, which would be a multiple of earnings, could you use a rule of thumb for this particular sector, considering the difference between these two businesses? The answer is a resounding no. And if you do, I'd suggest you need to be very, very careful about the decisions you make as a result of that, because there's some underlying issues here that these are quite different businesses. And the main difference is the quality of earnings. And that's where, as business valuers and advisors, we look very carefully at the quality of underlying earnings and the risks and opportunities and other issues impacting those earnings. You can see here, customer concentration means there's, on the surface at least, a very high risk that if the business was to lose 1, 2 or 3 of these customers, it actually may not be profitable at all. Therefore, using a rule of thumb valuation on that business maintainable earnings, let's say 3 times multiple, 1.5 million business value, would be fraught with danger because of that risk in terms of quality of earnings. Here you've got a greater spread of customers delivering the revenue from the business. Hence the reason that we don't subscribe to the view that there are typical rules of thumb for valuation.